It's Children's Church! Yay! It's Children's Church!
Is anybody?
Amen.
The very thing that he made the heathen help me. I'm not preaching to anybody up in here. As much trouble as some of us have been in, we should have been dead a long time ago. Oh, I wish I could testify. If I could testify, I started off like this here. You must not know about me. Y'all ain't feeling me, huh? You don't know about me, because if you knew the truth about who was standing up here preaching to you, you probably wouldn't come to hear me preach no more. But the truth of the matter is, if I knew who I was preaching to, I wouldn't fool with you either, player. The truth of the matter is that a whole lot of stuff that should have messed you up turned around and blessed you. Am I talking to anybody up in here? I'm preaching to some folk in here who've been sick, but you ain't got an S on your forehead. Some folk in here who had cancer, but you ain't got a big C on your chest. Some folk with sugar diabetes, but you don't have an SD tattooed on you. Some folk who've been garden tools in the past, but you ain't got a W on your forehead. I'm telling anybody up in here, the very thing that the enemy would use to mess you, God turned around and used to bless you. Am I preaching to anybody up in here? That's what I love about God, is that when folk count you out, God just really start counting them. Ain't nobody happy but me. When folks say you wasn't going to make it, God made a way out of no way. When folks said you was going to be broke, God didn't let you get broke. He just broke some stuff up and put it in your possession. Somebody ought to shout out right now, I don't look like what I've been through. You ought to look at your neighbor and say, you don't either. The truth of the matter is, we've been through a lot. Everybody in here ought to have a story to tell. Everybody in here ought to be able to testify, Pastor, I've been through hell. You're looking, but you ain't listening. Pastor, I done had my heart broke. I wish I had some help in here, Joe. Ain't nobody feeling it the way I'm putting it down. Somebody ought to every night and throw their hands up and say, if you knew what I've been through. The Hebrew boys. Shadrach and them. Y'all know them. I'm going to call them Shadrach and them today. Y'all don't mind. I know them pretty well. I know y'all call them Shadrach, Meshach, and a bad Negro. Whatever you want to call them, they're going to be Shadrach and them today now. Shadrach and them gets themselves in an awful predicament.
My Lord.
It gets promoted by a prolific king.
Yes.
Now, I need you to zoom in real close to me, because I'm just going to observe it and going on about my business today. But before I observe it, I need to give you a quick lesson in signs and symbols, types and shadows, because it's peppered with them. If you don't understand it, you got to understand that the king, Nebuchadnezzar, is a type of the enemy.
Right.
Somebody say enemy.
Right.
But then they're in Babylon, which is a type of the world.
Yes, sir.
All right. The Hebrew boys, is 3 of them. They represent a type of the church.
All right.
I'm giving you the fabric. I'm going to sew it up in just a minute. But then you got this fiery furnace, which is a type of the hell.
Yes, sir.
All right. You're looking, but you ain't listening. Let me see if I can zoom it in and sew it up for you. Here you got the church. Down in the world, being fooled with by the enemy, trying to send them to hell.
All right. Well.
The church, Hebrew boys, in Babylon, down in the world, being fooled with by the king, Nebuchadnezzar, the enemy, and he's trying to send them to hell. Now, Pastor, what does that mean to me? The church. Down in the world, being fooled with by the enemy, trying to send you to hell. I wish you'd feel me right up in here. The church, down in the world, fooled with by the enemy, trying to send you to hell. Maybe you can't testify, but I'm going to testify on your behalf. You the church. You don't need the steeple, because you the people. You the church. And you're down in the world. And I don't care what you do, you can't escape the world. The Bible says you live in the world, but you're not of the world. And everywhere you go, you're stuck in the world. On the job, that's the world. In your house, that's the world. At the grocery store, that's the world. At the pawn shop, that's the world. At the swap shop, that's the world. At Louis, the only one left, that's the world. At the chicken house, that's the world. At the ranch house, that's the world. At the barbecue house, y'all ain't feeling that. I'm preaching the best I can. That's the world. At the Cadillac house, that's the world. The Chevrolet house, that's the world. You're always being influenced, infected, and infested by the world. But then the enemy is always down in the world. Can you testify the enemy always messing with you? Well, let me give you an old term. The devil always messing with you. If you can't say amen, say he messing with the Rev. He always messing with you. He mess with you in your house, don't he? Especially on Sunday morning, because it'd be hard for you to get on up and get here on time. He's messed with you on the job because as soon as you get to work, they always got some dumb stuff for you to do that they should have told you to do before you left on Friday. I'm not preaching to anybody messing with you on the job because at 4:55 with 5 minutes to go, they got something that they needed 10 minutes ago. They always messing with you and tell you that ain't never the devil. Mess with you through your children because children know how to mess with you on Saturday morning when you're trying to sleep late. They want cereal. That ain't never the devil. That ain't never the devil. That ain't never the devil. Then after you get them cereal, then they want toast. That ain't never the devil. And after you get them toast, they want to cut on the big TV. That one in the room, but they want to be in front of the big TV. I put a cartoon on, and it's the same one they watched yesterday. And ain't nothing but the devil. The devil is always messing with you. Now watch this here. Until he can send you to hell, he gonna try and give you hell. That side over there ain't going on. Y'all on the slow bus. I'm gonna get y'all a horn.